Hi there, this is Tom from Nightingale Games. We're doing a unboxing of the production copy of Imperial Borders, which should be out towards the end of this year. It's in production right now. Here's the front cover. It was painted, no AI. The box is about 2 feet long by 1 foot wide and about 8 inches deep. For comparison, here's a copy of War Room, Signature Edition, which is a little longer, but a little shallower. And it's got a sort of gold trim tray on the inside. Not everything is as you will see it. Like this illustration is a little darker than the final will be. Some of these edges are placeholder. So there are 6 nations. This is Russia, for example. Each has their own storage tray. They also have a similar design to their box with the sort of neck that lifts up. And we've added an inside color fill to the lids instead of it just being traditional gray. And this is where you'll store the plastic units. So you have the ship of the line and the frigates, cannon. They each have a slot in the back to insert an elite pennant. Here's a cavalry unit. We'll take a closer look. This is just going to be a quick unboxing. We'll take a closer look in a later video. These are the half infantry and full infantry, and you'll get territory flags like these, which fit on top of the fortifications, and you put little flag stickers on them like that. And then there's also the round port flag discs, which sit on top of the round ports. So each nation is similar. There's plenty of storage room. The number of units varies. You can check out the Kickstarter for an exact count of what's included in the game. Here's Prussia. They're black. The color matches the uniforms that they wore during the period. Here's Great Britain. And France. If you hear snoring in the background, that's my dog. The game is set in 1815 in a what if the Congress of Vienna failed and each of the 6 major powers of Europe went back to war? This is the common token storage box. So I'll go over what's in each of these compartments here. We've got these turquoise elite pennants. We made them turquoise so they stand out on the map and they're easy to see because they can easily be overlooked otherwise. These are damage tokens you put next to ships and fortifications, which can take more than 1 hit. You have morale tokens here, in the blue and the negative red. You have some plastic gold chests. This is how you buy new units. A common supply of those. These are sort of a shiny gold. You have some revolt tokens. These are in the advanced optional rules, and some field hospital tents. We have got the hotspots, which you'll sticker yourself. This is a hotspot, and this is an annex marker. These are chunky wooden pieces. Then these are also wooden. These are the stance markers colored in the nation's color. You have a defensive and offensive stance, which affects how the dice results play out. And then in this corner, you have a tiny gold bust of Napoleon. He keeps track of the round that you're on, and the prestige pegs which fit in the prestige board. I'll show you that in just a moment. At the bottom here, there's also these punch board blue, white, and red arrows to keep track of various orders when things get complicated. Okay, I recommend keeping these in the common token storage box rather than the individual nation boxes because they can get lost that way. Then we have Austria here, the lid, and finally Spain. So those are the 6 nation boxes over there. And then we have a fortifications box. Now this is what I was talking about earlier, where you will insert the territory flag in the top of these. See how there's a pentagon indentation there. And if it's a capital, you'll put some bases underneath. So this would be the Russian capital. These are major forts, and what goes along with that are the major ports. They're a little bit deeper, and then you have the minor forts and ports. So the forts are pentagonal and the ports are discs. There's a minor port. And so 4 compartments for all of those. There's quite a lot of forts and ports to go on the board. So we have the fortifications and the common token storage tray. All of these are historical illustrations from the period. In this black folder, you'll get the 32-page rule book here. Here's the back, some back reference. And I'll just do a quick flip through some of the pages here. It comes with an index and sequence of gameplay here. Plenty of illustrations. Also in here are all the stickers you'll need and the tally chart. This was a stretch goal for the Kickstarter, and so on one side's the casualty list, so you can tally up your morale tokens, and the battle dice log, so you can tally up how many dice you need to roll for that given battle. These are the stickers for the stance tokens, and you've got sheets for each of the nations for the territory flags here. And then these are the hot spots. And then there's also the stickers for the round prestige tokens. Put that down there. And then you have the planning maps. This is where you'll be plotting. Each nation plots their orders secretly and simultaneously. So there's a front and back. And these are dry erase. So you'll take a dry erase pen and plot your orders, unlike War Room where you wrote codes for the destination. You'll actually be drawing lines from one place to another to say where your orders are. And at the top, you can see a reference where there's a custom setup for each, unique to each nation, and then a quick summary for each of the different phases, 1 through 7 here, and then a special section for battle reminders. Also, here's a reference for the cost of units. So that's Prussia, and here's Russia, green, Great Britain. So they have a slightly different setup. They have more, start with more ships. Austria, and Spain and France. This is the flags of the period at the time, which have changed, obviously. This is the metals chart. It's also dry erase, if you can see the shininess of it. Here you'll, at the end of each round, you'll track various points gained in different categories. For example, the highest national morale, which is gained by winning and losing battles, most territories, most homeland territories, most elite land units, and most elite ships. And so you'll tally all these up to get a score, which will then add to your points on the prestige track. And so you'll see this is a pegboard with holes similar to how War Room had pegboards. These are a little bit larger holes. But those pegs I showed you earlier fit into each of these rows, one for each nation. And then that gold Napoleon figure fits in the top to track the rounds. So the game lasts between 6 and 9 rounds. Towards the end of the game, you'll vote whether or not to end the game. And this is the battle board for the land side. And you can see there's a front and rear for each section. So the placement of your units and the stance you choose will affect the outcome of the battle. And you have some reference along the edges here for how many dice you roll and how many hits the different units can take. Combined arms bonus, metals bonus, elite bonuses. And on the back side is for port battles. And so you have a picture of the port where you place the units and the fortifications and the ships. And again, more reference. And these shadowed areas are where you'll be rolling the dice. Then we have the dry erase pens, which are a little bit bigger than the standard white cheapo ones you get with games like Win, Lose, or Draw. They have a magnet on them and an eraser on their lid. And they're relatively sharp. And you could probably store these in the fortifications box once they're opened. Then there's the treasuries box. This is where during the game you'll keep all of your gold and your casualties during battles and your morale tokens. These are the medals that you can clip to your lapel when you win that category. You see there's a little sort of shiny gold foil there. There's 6 of these. This is for the most elite army units. This is highest morale. Most territories. And most elite ships. And then within there are these trays which can be removed, and you can take them out when you need to bid secretly, or you can place 3 in each side, so 3 in the lid and 3 in the base, and put them on the edge of the map because the amount of gold you have is public information. So you'll put these on either side of the map during play. But when they pack away, you can put them back in the box like this. And those are the treasuries. And then we also have this box, which holds the dice cup rollers, which are the same as War Room. They're these, I'll show you. But first we have the mini map, which if you just have a minor skirmish and don't feel the need to transfer all the units to this large board, you could resolve a battle quickly near the scene, whether it's a port or land. We have the reference cards, not reference cards, nation cards, which there's one for each nation. These will be placed in order to determine turn order. They're just have the logo on the back so they can be randomized. They're a little bit smaller than playing cards. There's the big Victorian medal. This is extra large. You can see it's extra shiny too. Then you have the dice. There's 50 white dice for representing guns and swords. I think these are 12 millimeter. And then you have 20 representing the cannons. And you'll roll bunch of these, so you can take one of these dice cups, dump the dice in the top hole, and shake them around on the board here, and then lift it up and reveal the results of that round of battle. And then finally at the bottom here we have the rolled up neoprene mat. Now this is a little smaller than the neoprene war room mat, which was 4 feet. This is 44 inches square, and it's sliced in two and then meets in the middle. So it unrolls and rolls up here in 2 pieces that fit together. So I'll show that unrolled in a shot. And so you can roll it back up again, and that rolling avoids kinks over time. So I recommend keeping it rolled up in the box instead of just shoving it in like this. You'll want to roll them up into little Swiss rolls. So that is a quick unboxing of the production copy of Imperial Borders. There might be some slight changes, like this illustration will be a little bit brighter. The insides of this box will be a little cleaner. And the game, I'm guessing, will weigh around 17 pounds. We'll do a more in-depth how to play videos once the game's released. You can check out our website and join our Discord if you want to follow the progress. Again, it's estimated to complete sometime in November, late November. And then we'll have to travel on the container ships around the world to the various hubs, and then it will be delivered. So you can still pre-order it on our website, nightingalegames.com. And we also have another tiny little game, City of Demons. It's opposite in scope. It's a 2-player skirmish, post-apocalyptic, push your luck card game designed by Jim Dubois. You can check that out as well. If you don't know about it, there's a convention in Dayton hosted by Board Game Nation where War Room and Imperial Borders will be demoed there. So you can check that out. Just search for Board Game Nation. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. Bye.